Ah, I believe that we are live.
Dun dun!
Chat, hello. I know that you're there, Alex. I know that you're there, David. -1 minutes left. Well, this bodes well.
Nice. Nice.
Aha. We are live. Excellent. Hello.
Yay!
Hello, everybody. How's it going? Hope you're having a lovely, lovely, calm, relaxed, gentle Saturday evening. And welcome. Welcome to what will go down in history as a stream that happened today. My name is Vanwood. But a year ago, you may have known me by my other name, Jamish, 4 E's. I decided to change that name, and I hope my reasoning is pretty self-explanatory. But yes, I'm joined this evening for the first episode of The Fandom Lives, which was our series of streams we did about a year ago, in which I talked to a various number of Undertale content creators. I'm joined today by Lynx Griffin.
Hi!
How's it going?
I'm here. It's going okay.
Yeah, you've been busy, you were saying.
Yes, various things.
Yeah.
Especially this week, I got a new pet, and
Oh, really?
It's a bearded dragon, and I named her Alphys.
No way.
And yeah, and I've been full of feelings all week because she's a little baby, and I love her, and also freaking out taking care of small creature by myself. So
Yeah.
that's been my life this week. I now have Alphys with me.
That is.
She's on her hammock.
That's pretty spectacular. Like, oh my god. So, like, a bearded dragon, like, that's a reptile, right?
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, it's a desert reptile.
Okay, so like we're eating small mammals and stuff. Is that what Alphys is?
Bugs, mostly bugs.
Okay.
When they're babies, and vegetables too. And as they get older, they'll have more vegetables, less bugs.
Okay.
But I actually need to go buy some more bugs because I'm almost out.
Okay, you know, like crickets and stuff.
Yeah, which is kind of challenging to keep track of because they have to be alive. So, like, great, I have to have alive bugs.
Wow.
In addition, yeah.
So you sign up to kind of take care of Alphys for a bit, and you suddenly find yourself with a, you know, with the whole cast of the movie Bugs Life. That's tragic.
Yeah, that too.
Sorry to hear
Except their food.
That's weird. I was thinking.
Ramen.
I was thinking about that movie. Actually, that's weird.
Bugs Life. I haven't seen it forever.
I don't know. I feel like I don't know if you've ever had this, but like weekday evenings when I was growing up through school. The Simpsons, right? 6 o'clock every day, one episode, 6 till 6:30, and advert break halfway through. And I swear to God, I'm not making this up. I would think to myself at school on a certain day, oh man, I remember this really funny bit of The Simpsons. And that episode would play that evening. This happened too often. This happened too often to be coincidental. I think I might be God. No,
that's the power of The Simpsons.
That's the power of The Simpsons. Yeah, my God. Oh my goodness. Anyway, sorry, we're getting distracted. See, I told you this would happen.
Already.
We do have a list of announcements to do before we begin with the stream in its sincerity. Thank you so much for waiting, everybody. We really enjoyed doing this series a year ago. We finished it at the end of August 2020. Had a little bit of a break because once every 2 weeks continually for several months is pretty hectic, but we're excited to be coming back. We already have 8/9 people on the list. That's right, David. We may have added another one this afternoon.
Nice.
It's obviously a really fun thing to look forward to. Please bear with us. I'm not a professional, but this is just a bunch of fun and an opportunity to basically showcase the talent, the mad talent that exists in this fandom, and to kind of, have a bit of a view of how the fandom lives. Haha! And also this has been a crazy year in many, many ways. We weren't anticipating what was going to happen, and I mean that in the context of obviously the whole global pandemic, but obviously Blair has been facing their own challenges, and obviously, let me turn this down a bit because it's kind of loud. keep kind, keep courteous, keep kind of respectful of everybody in the chat. Thank you so much. In the chat and in the description of this video, you will notice our merch, our spring page. And Blair was surprised to find out earlier that I do have one of the face masks. Lots of stuff on sale, including the face mask, which is topical and super safe for wearing as long as you wash it regularly. If you are looking for a face mask that will definitely make you the coolest kid in your Zoom call maths lesson, definitely check it out. Please ask us questions during the stream as well. We both have the stream up. We're taking a look. If you have any questions for Lynx on the subject of art, because that's what Lynx is probably most known for, do let us know. We will be guided by you. I do have my own questions, but obviously do come in with your own. If you do have any ideas as to who you would like to feature on another episode of The Fandom Lives, please let me know. I am in the TwoAllNighters fan server. Vanwood, do at me. It's fine. Please validate my existence by sending me a DM. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, do let us know if you have any suggestions as to anybody else you want to be on the show, and we can kind of extend olive branches. It has been surprising who we have been able to meet using this forum. So thank you so much. Keep the suggestions coming in. Immediately after the end of this stream, we are going to go into the voice chat in the fan server, the TwoAllNighters fan server. Link can be found below. It'll be great to say hi after the stream. You are about to watch the product of my Saturday, and I'm very excited for you to watch it. Nick Nitro did the music. Thank you to him for taking the theme tune that I made a year ago and doing his own small take. Great. Cool. Any other announcements from you, Lynx?
Oh, I don't know.
That's great.
We report for Paper Trail tomorrow, so that's all I have to
you're posting
right
tomorrow.
Now.
Holy crap, that's awesome.
Yep.
Great. All right. Well, looking forward to that, definitely. But yeah.
Otherwise,
yeah.
Yep. Stuff's cool.
Great. Let's begin. I'm kind of nervous to show you guys this. I hope you enjoy it. The intro sequence, the opening credits of the Phantom Lives. Oh. And welcome back. Wow. Hopefully you like that. Welcome back to the stream. Remember, today we are talking with Lynx Griffin. Hello.
Hello.
While I get the game set up, because we usually have a game in the background, the game that we're going to be playing today is not Undertale. Last season was Undertale. Today is chapter 1 of a game that you may have heard of. It's called Deltarune. I don't know if you
may have heard of that one.
Have you?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not sure.
I think so.
I don't know if I know what the hype is about. No. Anyway, let's get the game up here. Oh, let's.
You have to do all your vessel choices.
Yes, those are. I've been told that those are really important.
Yes, definitely want to make sure you get those right, because I'm using that the whole time.
That's right. Character creation, most important part of the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have? Are you there? Yeah. Cool. Let me know how levels are, ladies and gents. Oh, Crayon Queen, definitely put that on the list, definitely for sure.
That's such a spooky opening.
Excellent. Excellent. Truly excellent. Yeah. So while this is all on, now we can begin.
Yes, indeed.
We may begin. I don't feel good about that. So, Lynx Griffin, let's have a talk about who you are, what your story is. Let me turn the game down a touch because that's a bit loud. It's certainly loud on my end.
Yeah, it kind of hides how loud it is until you're like, whoa, okay. Oh.
Yeah, until we're several minutes in. So, who you are, what your story is. Like, you're obviously known for being an artist. What was the beginning of that for you, and how did you come to be online, and what was the kind of journey? I mean, yeah, let's maybe take it one step at a time.
I don't know. It feels long, kind of. I don't know if it's very exciting or anything. Like, I feel like I'm a lot older maybe than most people in the fandom, because I've been online since like, what was it? Not early, late 90s probably, like before there was social media.
Wow, okay.
So that was back in the days of X-Files. That was the big fandom back then.
All right. So your first fandom was X-Files.
Yeah, first online one anyway.
No, my younger sister is a big X-Files fan. Every day before school. Let's get the hooded, zipped-up hoodie. That's cool. No, that's great. That's if in some ways I kind of find that a bit encouraging because I turned 30 in October of last year.
Yeah, 30s are honestly pretty good. Like, I find them an improvement over 20s. Like, it's just way more chill, I guess. You stop worrying about some certain things, and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna do my thing.
Yeah, totally. I've actually been starting to feel a bit like that. I was feeling like that towards the end of my 20s, to be honest. Like, my profession is I'm a teacher, and
nice.
there were questions about, is this what I want to do? And the answer is always yes. And it's not that I'm in the wrong job. It's how can I make the job that I have better, that kind of thing. But no, I'm detracting the attention away from you.
That relates to it because, like, yeah, I'm huge respect for teachers because I'm surrounded by them. Both my parents teach.
Oh yeah.
Bunch of my extended family teaches. One of my sibling teaches. Like, we either went into education or the arts, pretty much. So, lots of friends and families teachers. I know that's a tough job.
Okay. And you decided it wasn't the job for you?
Nah, I was never interested in that. I was pretty much always interested in art. When I want to be a Disney animator when I was like 6 years old. And parents actually encouraged that. I think my mom wanted to do art when she was younger, so seeing that in her child, she's like, oh yes, go do that. So I was encouraged for that from a young age, and I'm sure that definitely helped just continue with that. So yeah, I pretty much always wanted to do art. For hobbies, for job, all of that stuff. So I started when I was like 18 months old and haven't really stopped since then.
Okay, so there was a time where you discovered the internet as a form of sort of sharing what you were doing at a time where it was all in its infancy. So
yeah, pretty much. Like I was writing fan fiction back, in the 90s for X-Files stuff. It was a little harder to share images online.
Yeah.
Again, there wasn't really social media, but I did do that some. There was this weird thing back like early 2000s, I think. I did like these, what I'd call puppet show theaters kind of stuff, where it was basically like parodies of a bunch of popular stuff, all the X-Files stuff, but also like a bunch of popular movies and stuff that was out, with just like crude little puppet drawings and jokes that went with them. And that got popular when I was much younger. And then after that, it was a lot of various things, but yeah, a lot of comics, sometimes drawing them by hand, sometimes then I eventually moved to the computer when I could not do them by hand too much. And it just kind of slowly eased into posting that stuff online. I did that on LiveJournal back when that was a thing. And previous to that, it was like GeoCities. So it was a lot of build your own website stuff. So it feels very distant now.
Totally, that everything's totally changed. Like and you know,
Greg.
in many yeah. Sorry, this is the name of the character from our last
Greg,
playthrough of
yeah.
Undertale, and yeah.
So Greg continues.
Yeah, I feel like in my heart, like that's the way it must continue. Hello, Greg. We called it
Greg.
Greg.
Gregory.
What about the creator?
Oh,
Your
that's
own
another
name.
question.
Ah, what shall I name us?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, if you're gonna continue this file for different ones, then
Are
I didn't
we?
want to name it.
That's true, because I did only download this today. Let me call
You want to
me.
name it after the channel or just something else weird?
Yeah, I was about to name it after myself. Is that selfish?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it's intending you to.
Vanwood. Yes, it is I. Excellent. It's cool. I think this is the first time we've had someone that has such a long memory of internet culture, which is really fun. Because
yeah.
I was sitting here thinking, well, you know, some of the people we've talked to in the past don't really remember the world before Pokemon, for instance.
Yeah, I do remember World Before Pokemon. I remember when that first came out, and it was a big deal.
Yeah, totally.
Very old.
Your name is...
It's Chris.
Amazing. Do you remember playing this like when it came out and just being like, "Oh my god, it's Tony!"
Yeah, pretty much. I was like, oh, because I like heard about it in the morning. I'm like, crap, I gotta go to work. I can't play until I'm home. So I'm like at work trying to rush through all my stuff. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get home and do this. So like, it's Halloween. I have nowhere else to be. So I'm like,
totally.
Okay, we're just gonna play this, and that took all night. It was an experience for the first time.
Yeah, dude. That's so cool. I feel like so many more questions have opened up. I did not know that you. I don't want to say this as respectfully as I can. Like, you've obviously been around for a long time, and that's really really cool. And yeah, I'm just thinking about any follow-up questions about it. Really.
Yep.
So, did you have a MySpace page? That's the question.
No, I actually skipped MySpace.
Oh,
that one I did not get to. I think I went from just general, like, again, cheapo websites you made yourself with GeoCities, and I think from that it was to LiveJournal.
Yeah.
I can't remember if there was anything intermediates in between that.
Okay, and then at what point did it become Twitter and Tumblr and like the current kind of setup?
I feel like that was about 5-6 years ago. What is time? Oh my goodness. Maybe it was before then. I feel like it was I feel like it was either 2014, 2015, but I'm not sure. So the first thing I did on Tumblr was actually a Kingdom Hearts Ask blog, and that was my introduction to it. Before I was like, okay, I'll get an actual Tumblr just for myself. But that was when Ask blogs were more popular, so I'm like, that looks fun. I'm gonna do one, and it was fun, but it was a lot of work, so I eventually had to stop.
Oh, you did an Ask blog, did you?
Yeah.
Okay. What was that about? Was it Undertale based or?
No, it was Kingdom Hearts. It was for the character of Ericus, which is a little bit minor character from Birth by Sleep. But I always found him interesting, so I did an Ask blog with him. Did all the drawings and stuff for it.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I was big into Kingdom Hearts through a good chunk of fandom stuff, and Kingdom Hearts 3 kind of broke my heart on that a bit. And also I got into Undertale Deltarune in between, those big chunks of time between 2 and 3, so that ended up taking a lot of space too.
Yeah.
And I still have a lot of love for it, but I don't know if I have a lot of love for Nomura some days. But yeah, I made a lot of friends in that fandom that I am still friends with.
Yeah. I remember the first Kingdom Hearts I played was the second one.
Second one's good.
Oh man, I really enjoyed it because I was blinded by the vision of Japanese anime characters, well not quite anime, but Final Fantasy characters and Disney characters in the same room. Just freaking blew my mind, and I thought it was a lot of fun. But I went back to the first game and I was like, the combat wasn't as polished as the second, but.
Oh yeah, the first one they were still figuring a lot out. The second one, I think they got the combat down better.
Yeah. Turn off Discord notifications. I'm on streamer mode.
Mhm.
Are notifications coming off on the stream?
Oh, is it something on my end? Do I need to
No,
do
I don't.
something?
I don't think so. I have streamer mode on Discord, so
Hmm.
I don't know how they're coming through on the stream because I'm not aware of them coming through either. That's a bit of a weird
That's
one.
weird.
Anyway, cool. Oh look, it's your pet lizard.
Yeah, it's Alvy's.
There you go.
Here she is. She's on her hammock right now, and she's in school. It was so neat with Deltarune saying like, "Oh, I recognize these characters. Oh, there they are." And, like, that's part of the interesting thing is seeing these characters you recognize and then having your expectations subverted as to who they are, how they act.
Yeah, because it is an AU, right? It's an alternate reality. Okay, so we've talked about basically a brief history of Lynx Griffin. And kind of how you kind of found your feet in different fandoms. When did you play Undertale straight away as it came out? It was in September 2015, wasn't it? So did you play Undertale straight away, or was it later on?
Not straight away. I think it was like a few months after, like either November or something like that. Probably October, November. Just I'm never on time when these things jump out. I'm always late to them. But I just had a bunch of friends, usually, other fandom RP friends who were talking about it a lot. They seemed to really enjoy it. So I'm like, yeah, it looks the kind of thing like I'd enjoy. I think I'll give it a try. So I jumped in pretty blind.
Yeah. Yeah, best way to play, totally.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
If that's the case, did you kill Toriel?
I did. My first run, I killed Toriel. Didn't know how to do it.
There you go.
I actually went, I killed her and I went all the way to the end with the Toriel is dead ending, and then I went back and did a pacifist run.
Yeah. Oh my god, same. I think I most of the people that I've talked to, obviously through this show and outside of it, discovered Undertale either through watching someone else play, like someone like Jacksepticeye or whatever, or they had some things spoiled before they played it. And when that happens, you obviously do get affected as to what choices you'd make. Whereas it's interesting to hear that you played it blind and basically made the same choices I did. So the whole, I only became vaguely aware of the fact that, you could load your game from before the tutorial fight and try and find another way. But, you're not in that headspace on your first playthrough, are you? You think, God.
No.
I don't know if you did the same thing, but on my first playthrough, I beat Undyne. I killed Undyne. And that's one of the most emotive moments of the game, her trying to hold herself together despite the fact that she's disintegrating, and you're hitting her continually, just like, why won't you die? And when she does die, you go into the next room, and there's a water dispenser. And the first time I walked in, I was like, oh my goodness. Like, when you're going through something kind of like, traumatizing, you often get given like a glass of water. So I was like, oh, that next room with the water dispenser is like, oh, it's for me because
trauma water.
yeah, totally. That's how I was thinking. So like later on, when you're in a pacifist run and you use the water to kind of thaw out Undyne and not thaw out, you know what I mean, like kind of cool her down. I'm convinced that Toby saw the connection between that water dispenser, both as cooling Undyne down in the pacifist run, but also as trauma water if you were to have killed her. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Yeah. I ended up not killing her. Because I had killed Toriel and I felt really bad about it. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to kill anybody else.
Yeah.
And I got to Undyne and I was like, what am I doing here? I don't know. And I actually just went and looked it up. And they said, you have to run away. I was like, oh, I had no clue you're supposed to run away. And I think that was the only thing I looked up. Everything else I tried to do blind.
Man, I did it all blind. No, the only thing I didn't do blind was one of the puzzles in Hotland.
Oh yeah, that's a hard one.
There was like one. Yeah, there was like one where you had to like double back on yourself, and I spent 20 minutes, and I was like, I don't feel great about this, but I'm gonna find it. But no, it never occurred to me to run from Undyne. So in that respect, yeah, totally.
Yeah, because I had heard vaguely, oh, you can do it without killing anybody. I'm like, but I killed Toriel. I don't want to have to kill Undyne too. I gotta. So yeah, I looked it up. Okay. Slight cheat, but that was the only one I looked up. And I think I got through. I strong arm through that puzzle, but I do find it kind of funny how Undertale has a thing where like, oh, we're gonna carefully handhold you around the easy puzzle, and then oh, here's the hard puzzle. You're on your own.
Yeah, totally. But I think
it's very funny.
It's great for so many reasons, but like the whole, the vision of hand holding and then removing that is one of the ways that make it so great.
Yeah.
But then did you waste? I mean, did you wait for a Deltarune, or as soon as you got it came out, did you jump straight into it?
Yeah, again, I heard that basically there was something coming out on Halloween. Nobody was quite sure what it was yet, but I was super interested, of course. So basically, day it came out, well, I had to do work first, so I rushed through that, got home, and then played it. Yeah, pretty much the day it was out. Mostly because I was already super invested and I was interested, and they show all the weird cryptic, possibly from Gaster messages on the social media, so it was it was intriguing, so I had to go for it.
Totally. Oh, great. Okay. But obviously if I could like divert it back towards what we were talking about earlier, the whole you were writing fan fiction, it became art once the internet kind of grew into a forum where you could share that kind of stuff, live journal. You were doing work for fandoms like the X-Files and for Kingdom Hearts. When did Undertale really kind of start taking over that, or did it? Are you still working on those projects?
It took over it pretty quickly, I think. I first started doing Undertale fan art not that long after I beat the game, just because I enjoyed it so much, and usually if I enjoy something, I'm like, oh, I gotta draw for it, I gotta do that. And so
yeah, totally.
I did some fan arts for it, kept doing them, and then eventually did the longer comics that started to grow and grow, and that eventually turned into Dogs of Future Past. So it started taking over pretty quickly. I think at the time I was also into Steven Universe, and that unfortunately has a wonky schedule where you'd have big blocks of time with nothing airing. So it was, and also Kingdom Hearts at the time. We were between games, so I had the space for Undertale to come in, and it did, and it stuck around since. Yeah,
totally. Is that a good thing?
I think so, definitely. I love the series. I love the fandom. I've enjoyed a lot of working on a lot of the work I've done for it. So, yeah, I'm glad for that.
Yeah, and the work has been, considerable, and there are going to be a lot of people in this chat who know exactly who you are because of the work that you've made, and the sentiments that I've expressed to you before are totally true. Like, it's been wonderful, really, really wonderful stuff. Dogs of Future Past is such a well done comic, and creating. I mean, how do you feel about like your role as a comic artist? Is it just about the art for you, or how do you feel about like the creation of the story element as well?
I mean, they're kind of one and the same. It's like while I have done fanfic stuff, it's kind of hard to separate them in my head now, because if I'm thinking of a story, I'm thinking of it visually. So just the writing and the art part are one and the same. They're together, kind of thing. And so, yeah, that's just. I'm sorry if I'm getting off topic from what you're asking. It's just that's the medium that I've felt most comfortable working in.
Yeah, for sure.
No, I guess that the other extension of that would be animation, but that's so time consuming that
that's something you've done before.
Hard to do by yourself.
Have you?
I've done a little bit.
Yeah.
I've done a little bit. I'm out of practice on it, honestly. I'd like to get more back into practice at some point, but it's just time consuming, because most of what I've done is because I do storyboards for my work, which then becomes animation, so it's kind of a similar setup, but you are doing things in a more broad sense than really focusing in on character acting and all of that.
Sure. I mean, am I hearing that right? You do storyboard. Your profession is storyboarding.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick. So there's a direct connection between the work that you do within the fandom and within other fandoms and what you're doing professionally.
Yeah, that's just, I'm like, oh, I can't stop. It's both my work and my hobby, which I don't know if I'd necessarily recommend that, but that's the place that I've fallen into, at least. But
Okay.
it's nice because I really enjoy my job, so that helps.
Yeah, totally. I mean, are you on any NDAs? Is there anything that you can share about what you're doing at work right now? Or
I can't talk about what I'm currently doing because
yeah,
NDA, but
yeah, of course.
For anyone that doesn't know my work history, I have primarily worked on My Little Pony. Worked on season 6, 7, 8, 9, and the movie and the Christmas special. And I've also done episodes on Polly Pocket, which I think is on Netflix now, and Dorg Van Dango, which was a co-production with Cartoon Saloon. I think it's kind of hard to find outside of the UK right now. And also, since this was announced, I can talk about it. I worked a little bit on an upcoming season of Johnny Test. That'll be on Netflix. And yeah, just a bunch of stuff. Mostly My Little Pony, which was really enjoyable.
Yeah, I think I did see that on your Tumblr, but that's super cool. And I suppose you said that you've been creating since childhood, so that must have been an absolute dream.
Oh yeah, like again, animation was what I wanted to do when I was a little kid, and then as I got older, animation kind of went more 3D, and so I went to school. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try and learn 3D animation because that's what everybody's doing, and I did, but I'm like, I don't really enjoy doing 3D. I want to draw, and thankfully, storyboarding is a place where you do still do that. So I focused more my attention on that, and I really like doing that. I like sequential storytelling, and Susie's eating her chalk, and yeah, so it's a place where I can do sequential storytelling and drawing. It's kind of like mini director in a way. I mean, you're still basically following what the director says, but you still have to make the storytelling choices, and I enjoy doing that.
Yeah, very cool.
Somebody was asking a question.
Yeah. Let's go for chat. Totally, let's do
it. Which scene?
Go for it. No, after you, please.
Oh, yeah. Which scene from NLP did you like storyboarding the most? Let's see. I like doing a lot of stuff on the movie because we had a lot of creative freedom that you don't normally have on the show. But it's kind of hard to tell that kind of stuff because in the movie everybody's throwing it at once. So it's a little bit less gesture work. On the show, I think my favorite episode to work on was the one with the Kieran. And I did the song for that one. So the Kieran song was one of my favorite things to do, I think.
Very cool. I mean, did you ever go to any conventions?
No, not pony conventions anyway. I was never invited. And I was like, okay, I can't really afford to fly out. Usually when they do conventions, I think they go for the voice actors and the directors and the writers. So the staff, the animators and the border artists and the layout artists, they are not as in demand, I guess, and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Have you heard of a YouTuber named Jenny Nicholson?
Oh yeah, I'm subscribed to her. I'm on her Patreon. I love her stuff.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, so you'd have seen her special about the bronies as a phenomenon.
Yeah, the BronyCon. Yeah, it was enjoyable. I'm sad she didn't enjoy the later season because that's what I worked on, but everybody's got their preferences. But that was a really enjoyable video.
Yeah, totally. Man. Oh, heck. I've been smashed against a locker. I'm from the UK, so lockers actually aren't really a thing in the schools in this country. So I feel quite honoured to be slammed against a locker right now. I feel like a lot of affinity to our American friends.
Proper locker slamming.
Yeah, got to get that culture. Cool.
Yep.
Okay, so you've talked about your passion for the artwork, the sort of desire to see the stories in your head come to life in a visual manner, which has drawn you towards the current creation, the importance of balancing the quality of the art with the quality of the story that you're telling, and the fact that they are inescapably linked. That is so cool. Somebody with no artistic ability such as myself, but who quite likes writing things down in a series of sentences to tell a story, I that resonates with me. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
And how Undertale kind of almost picked you up from where you were and turned you in a new direction, as it was. Um,
Hmm.
how did you know things were working? Was it Dogs of Future Past? Was that the point, or had you already realised that you were on to a good thing before then?
I think it was kind of Dogs of Future Past because I wasn't really planning a super big comic when I started that. At the time, I was doing like just small ones, exploring
Mm.
some other ideas from the canon itself. And then I was just kind of like, oh, well, what if this happened? And this. And then I think I put out like the first two parts, and there was a huge response from that. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll keep this going. We'll see how that goes. And yeah, it just kept going after that. So I think that was when it was like, oh, it's bigger than I was anticipating.
Yeah, totally. And again, like that must be so gratifying. And maybe talk us through like some of the feelings that you had and the experience of sort of riding that wave, I guess.
Um, I I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like, it's it's almost like a delayed kind of thing because like while you're actually working on it, is there's like a gap between that and getting the response to it. So your brain is kind of in two places at once of what you're actually working on and anticipating versus how people react when it comes out. But it's, yeah, I guess
Mm.
like riding a wave feels like an appropriate descriptor of it. But
Mm.
I don't know. It was cool, and you get some people that are like, oh, I don't like it, and some people are like, oh, I really like it, and you're like,
Mm.
okay, that's how it goes. You can't please everybody, so having just people that do really enjoy it, it's it's probably a constant with artists. You do that stuff for yourself, but you're also doing it because you want to be seen, and so that feels good.
Yeah, totally. And I mentioned this before we went live, but a big sort of recurring theme that I think is really interesting and kind of worth exploring is this idea of that balance that you've almost sort of alluded to there. This you're creating something that you're passionate about, and the fact that other people share that passion for that story that you're telling and are invested in it is great. Other people aren't. What's the balance like as someone who creates and wants kind of more exposure? How do you balance the desire to increase your kind of presence with the desire to share what you are passionate about?
um, I think the deal is that you, in terms of time, you can really only focus on one. So I choose to focus on what I'm passionate about because I'm like, okay, I can either just focus on pleasing everybody, or I can focus on the thing I really want to do, and I'd rather do the thing I really want to do, and that
Mm.
usually people tend to like that anyway. So I might as well put my focus there, and especially since like during the comics is not my job, so like I'm not financially dependent on it. I think that offers actually a bit of freedom in that sense because I don't have to worry about, well, I have to, keep up
Mm.
these numbers or else I'm not going to be able to pay rent kind of thing. It's like, no, I'm paying rent another way. So I, it's a little bit freeing to just like, I'm going to do what I want to do. And if people like it, they do. And people tend to like that. So it's really, really good.
What do you think people like about, say, for instance, Paper Trail?
um, more fluffy boys, I'm guessing. Everybody likes a fluffy boy. I don't know. I mean, the reason why I started it was I was curious about. I'm like, well, how could the rest of Deltarune go based on what we've seen in Chapter One? I just wanted to explore that, and I'm guessing other people felt the same way.
Mm.
It's an intriguing first chapter, and you want to know where else it's going to go. So, just exploring that is fun to do, fun to share.
I mean, I feel like maybe Dogs of Future Past almost was doing something similar, like trying to answer questions about the plot of Undertale that may not have been made explicit in the game. Do you think the similar kind of vibes are there, or? Would...
Yeah, I can see that.
Mm.
Like, I think some people, like, what they really enjoy doing is, oh, they like writing AUs where, it's the same characters, but also they appear very different kind of thing. Or people have different, like, stories they're drawn to or want to do. And I like working on stuff where I try and answer questions that might be left
from the original.
Yeah.
Okay, so you think that a degree of like authenticity to the original kind of work is really important.
It's at least important to me because that's what I find interesting. And I'm sure other people find other aspects interesting, and that's all good. There's space for everybody to do that kind of thing. But yeah, just for me, what I find interesting is the original piece and what can be built off of that.
Yeah. I'd be interested in I'm going off script here. I'd be interested in learning like what you think as somebody who has seen really the evolution of the internet and the kind of cultural powerhouse it's become from its humble roots. The Undertale sort of AU thing, right? I don't know. I'm gonna mention another YouTuber, Super Eye Patch Wolf, did a video a few months ago about what Undertale did and like the impact that it had, and the fact that someone can be a fan of a version of someone's fan character of someone's interpretation of Sans, like several connections, several degrees of freedom away from the original Sans, like a fan character of a fan character of a fan character of an original character, and how popular that work has been getting, you know, and it is like fan animations, and there are, you know, different creators that I've talked to with different stakes in the kind of AU culture, as it were. What's your reflection on how popular the whole AU thing is?
Yeah, I remember watching that video too. That's a really good,
awesome.
good video about the fandom. I guess for me, it's kind of a, if it makes you happy, that's cool. I've never been very interested in it personally. It's just not my thing. But I don't want to be like, oh, you're doing the fandom wrong, you know, kind of thing. You know, like there's no really right way to enjoy media, and I think it's interesting that, you know, it makes me wonder, like, okay, why does this particular media like have this effect? Because like people haven't done this for, you know, Kingdom Hearts or Steven Universe, but Undertale just had an explosion of AUs, and I think the reason why is because Undertale just has really well written, strong characters. That's a hard thing to do. So even if it's not those specific characters that people are doing with AUs, the fact that they've built off of them like this is a testament to how strong the foundation was in the first place. So if people want to, you know, take that foundation and, you know, build a hotel or a mall instead of a house or whatever it was before, then hey, cool, you know, just recognize it for what it is, pretty much. But yeah, even though I'm not really interested in it, I think it's interesting that it evolved that way, and it's kind of neat.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think that video, again, I'll recommend this to everybody in chat. Super Eye Patch Wolf did an Undertale video a couple of months ago, and it's so worth watching. Like, if you're in this fandom, it makes you proud to be in the fandom watching that. Anyway, and it discusses what we've kind of briefly mentioned there. Yeah, awesome. Someone's Alex has just said it's been 40 minutes, and oh my god, it has. This is awesome.
Holy cow!
Yeah, what were you going to say?
Oh, I would just my one complaint probably would be that it seems like the AUs focus really exclusively on Sans and Papyrus, and it's like they're cool, but we've got all these other characters too. It'd just be nice if it was not so centrally focused on one or two characters, and they could expand to the whole cast more. But that's my only complaint.
Yeah, and maybe to some degree, Gaster. There's always a fascination with.
Oh yeah. I am guilty of that too, so I can't even talk about that.
Yeah, but no, I agree with you about like answering the unanswered questions about the original cast. That was what originally drew me to Ask Frisk and Company, which is the first kind of Ask blog that I ever discovered, and it was after finishing the Pacifist run and being like, no, this isn't enough. I don't want this to be over. So yeah, I can definitely appreciate that sort of desire, really, and yeah, that maybe it's generational. I don't know, but yeah. So we've talked about who you are, your journey, kind of seeing several fandoms through, and obviously not leaving any of them because you're a fan of what you're a fan of. how your artistic kind of life has been transformed by investing in the Undertale fandom specifically, the explosive popularity of Dogs of Future Past, Paper Trail, and the balance between doing these things along with obviously the fact that you have a life outside, you have a career connected with this work as well. What advice? Like there are going to be people in this call, this shared stream of ours that obviously look at what you do and think that's unbelievable, in terms of the quality of the images and in terms of the character moments, the interactions, all of that stuff. As I guess as a story writer and as an artist, can you give us any advice? And specifically for me as a story writer, as an aspiring story writer, could you give any advice?
Unfortunately, the first advice that pops to mind is don't do what I did and don't overwork yourself. Because, again, like 2019, I guess it was, oh my, so long ago, I was literally overworking and I injured myself. And it was kind of devastating. And now I have to be careful how much I do per day.
Oh, wow.
Like, I can't exceed too much drawing per day because I injured my wrist from working too much. So it was, and I still do exercises and stuff for it.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, my first piece of advice is, like, do not overwork yourself. Your health is most important. And just in line with that, at least what I find works for me is, like, I just schedule myself pretty carefully. I don't really rely on, oh, I'm motivated to do this kind of thing, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, nope, half an hour, I'm going to work on this kind of thing. And then I'm going to take a break, and then I'm going to do another half hour, and, you know, if I have time, and just, at least for me, I know some people work differently, but I work really well with a routine in terms of, okay, this is work time, this is time for work on the fandom project, here's time for this, and just sequestering that time out per day helps me make progress while not, like, just getting totally overwhelmed.
Yeah, and I guess this is part of, like, adulthood, isn't it? Knowing when to say that's enough. Maybe I haven't been as productive as I hoped to be, but it's time to move on now. And you know.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fine advice.
Yeah, exactly. And also, like, you can't do good work if you're like, if you are overworking and like, no, I have to do this, blah blah blah. Like, you have to fill the well as empty it, pretty much.
Yeah.
And that's with just regular life stuff.
Totally. We've reached a save point.
Oh.
The first save point of the game. Yeah, sorry. This is the world's slowest playthrough of Deltarune ever because I'm just getting drawn into this frankly fascinating conversation, and it has been fascinating. Yeah, I suppose we're kind of reaching the end of the questions that I had prepared. I thought that, okay, Blair's saying, I thought you were going to say your first piece of advice was just don't.
Oh, no.
Don't create.
No, you should. Just don't overwork, but you should make stuff because it's fun.
Absolutely, yeah, totally worthwhile. Let's take a look at if there are any other questions here.
Okay.
For how long have you been in the Undertale VA community? Oh, is that? I guess that.
That's it. 0 days.
Yeah, you've been giving us material for years, and oh god, I haven't said this enough. Thank you, seriously. Thank you for producing a thing that I get to scream over.
Thank you for doing them. They're fun to watch, even though they're also kind of terrifying. Because I'm like, what if my writing sounds stupid?
Don't you need to worry about that. I mean, that's worth asking. Like, how do you write character dialogue within a comic strip that sounds so true to who they are? Like, how do you? I guess a good question maybe for people in the chat who want to kind of improve is, how do you improve? Like, how do you hone the craft of improving character dialogue that makes it sound really authentic?
Oh shoot, I feel like almost a writer would know better than I would. I mean, obviously, my first thought is with any kind of art, just doing it, just practice. Because it's kind of a thing where you can't get better unless you actually do it. There's never going to be a point where you're like, okay, I'm good enough to do this now, and just like, nope, in order to be good, I have to keep doing it. So it's a continuous process that never really stops, but that's kind of a good thing. And also just taking stuff from, again, filling the well with other things, reading, watching stuff you enjoy, taking stuff in from real life. It's all kind of fodder or stuff that you then in turn put out. And obviously, if you're doing stuff for a specific fandom, I'll usually just rewatch or replay something if I feel like I need a refresher.
Yeah, that's such good advice. So do you read regularly then, or?
Probably not as often as I should. I try and yeah.
Are you reading something right now?
I need to actually get back to it. I was in the middle of an Ursula Vernon book. I need to finish that.
Okay.
Paladin's Grace. That was pretty good. Got that for Christmas. Started it, but I need to work on it, finish it.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, and also a bunch of comics I should catch up with, as usual.
Oh, okay. Do you read? I mean, when you say comics, is that like other fan comics, or is it other material?
Just anything and everything. Can be fan or not.
Okay. So do you when you're feeling like potentially a little bit dry every so often, do you read other fan creators' content?
Yeah, sometimes. Basically, because again, I fill my days. I'm super busy. I usually am like, okay, I'm having a lunch break. I will, also read some comics during that time or watch something on YouTube while I'm eating. So that's usually when I make time for it.
Yeah, that's really cool. And it's crazy that my mind during this conversation has jumped to there you go.
These little wiggly things are so weird.
Yeah, it's true. And any I made 2 video recommendations and you'd already watched them, so we're clearly in the same sort of like space on terms of what we're consuming, which is super cool. Any other questions? Oh, it would be lovely to know if we know how long you've been on the Undertale. Okay, so for me, I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll recommend that you look back on our playlist on the Fandom Lives for my episode, because I talk about like what I've been doing in the Undertale fandom in excruciating detail, and yeah, that's why I direct you. The short answer is I was doing voiceover for like a little bit in 2015, got a little bit disillusioned with how little I was getting done and how I wasn't visible at all anywhere. I didn't know how to manage like social media or anything. I played Undertale and got involved with the Ask Frisk and Company project by Studio Catbird, and then joined TwoAllNighters. The rest is history. Oh, freaking DN Dubs. Tell you what, 2 weeks time, I'll talk to you more about DN Dubs. But yes, I would say since 2016 is when I've been doing more regular voiceover stuff. Yeah. What do you plan to do with the channel in the future? Make multi-contents? Oh, fun fact, the channel got me into Undertale community. I still support the channel. Red, thank you so much. This is not traditionally what we do on the channel, this stream. We traditionally do comic dubs, right? And that's why I'm talking to an Undertale artist, because, you Lynx have provided us with a lot of material. And it's been a lot of fun to kind of put it to life. I thought it would be interesting to create this series to talk to people who create art in the fandom, be they voice actors, be they artists, be they game developers, and we have every 2 weeks, every second Saturday at 8 p.m. GMT, a fair list now of who we're going to have on the second season. So yeah, thank you for tuning in, and thank you for bearing with us as we try these new things. I'm excited about it, and I hope you guys are as well. Dave is asking, Lynx, how do you feel about like comic dubbers in general? Like, how do you feel about what they do?
It's honestly kind of complicated feelings, because like on the one hand, it's really, really cool to see people, bring your stuff to life in a different way than what you did, because again, I can't voice act, but it's it's cool to see it added with how you might further imagine it if it were not exactly animated, but at least closer to that. On the other hand, it feels a little weird because YouTube as a platform is different from the other places, and you can monetize your content. So it's like, content's getting monetized, but not for me. So it's a little different. So I enjoy it, but there's also this other aspect of it feel again complicated feelings, but I do enjoy watching them.
Yeah. Do you feel potentially people are sort of exploiting the work that you've been doing, I guess?
I don't know. I don't really want to call it exploitation or anything like that, because it's not like a comic dub is no work. Editing is work. Voice acting is work, kind of thing. And putting all that stuff on a channel is work. So it's not like, oh, they're just taking the work and doing nothing with it, because that's not true. But again, it feels weird because it's like there's work they're doing and I'm doing work, but I am getting no monetary compensation for it just because of the medium, basically. Because YouTube has chosen to be monetized, or it has that options available for creators, whereas most other places do not, or at least certainly not for fan content.
Yeah. That that's been something that's kind of been to some degree at the back of my mind throughout the whole sort of Undertale comic dubbing ride that I've been on. It's like, oh man, really communicating with the artists about what we're doing and asking permission and stuff is so important, because you'd never want to make anyone feel uncomfortable. That's the last thing that we would certainly want. So yeah, I definitely relate to that sort of sentiment, to be honest. Alex is asking, what do you plan on doing, at least comic-wise, in the future?
Oh, I do have stuff I want to do. I'm sorry I can't talk about it right now. Just say it's not fan content. It would be something original, again. So, sorry I can't talk about it now. It'll probably be a surprise.
Oh my goodness.
But I do have stuff that I want to do after Paper Trail.
We didn't even talk about... didn't even talk about your own OC stuff. Oh man. Yeah, I didn't read very much of it. Yeah, I didn't read very much of it, but I really, really enjoyed the concept. Oh my goodness, I'm really embarrassing myself.
Oh, it's all good.
I forgot the name. You're gonna have to help me out.
Oh, the original content?
Yeah.
Oh, the most recent one I did was Skybox. That one was finished last
Skybox,
year.
yeah. The concept of the in the clouds and such a.
I actually had a few people offering to voice dub that, but I don't think they ever got to it. I think it was too big and daunting to do because it's so long. So I'm not surprised that didn't go through.
Yeah.
But people at least talk with me about it. So.
Yeah, totally. And I suppose the follow-on question is, you have your own ideas, you have your own stories. Skybox is one of them. How easy is it, or do you feel like it can be done, that you can bridge the gap between those people who are following you for the Undertale Deltarune stuff because of the connection with those media, and wanting to kind of draw them over to your own content, I suppose, your own ideas?
I've actually found that works out pretty well, is how it goes. Like, people, like, when I had Skybox for a long time, because that came out in, like, 2007 or something, 2009? No, maybe it's like 2011. I can't remember days anymore. But, I had followers for that, and then I started doing Dogs of Future Past as well, because I wanted to do that. And after that, my viewers for Skybox went up significantly, because it was people that were following for Dogs of Future Past were like, well, what else have you done? I'm like, well, I've done this original thing. So I have found that the fan works is a good way to direct people towards your original stuff.
Yeah.
So, and the fan works are always going to get more attention. That's just the nature of it. But it is nice as a means of also being like, hey, I also did this original thing. So I think it works out pretty well, actually.
Yeah. I definitely took a look at Skybox, and I know that I wouldn't have done that had there not been Dogs of Future Past. It was long enough ago that I forgot its name. It's just really embarrassing.
Yeah.
But
It's all good. Again, time is fake, especially in pandemic land.
Yeah, totally. Sarah's fan. Oh my god, dude. Thank you
Oh my
so
goodness,
much.
that's a lot.
That is extraordinarily generous. Thank you.
Cool.
Wow. Yep. Gonna boy, as someone who found links through Dog's Future Past and Paper Trail and found Skybox as a result, I can confirm that this works. Brilliant. Oh, Reds is asking, what's your favourite comic in the Undertale community? I suppose.
Oh, that's hard to. Because there's lots of good ones out there. Let's see. I do enjoy I enjoy Growspurt. That's great. Has some great humor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, we did a dubbing project of that, and it mixes humor with like the emotive parts and like authentic character writing too. Like, oh, it's great.
Yeah, so that one's really good. Let's see. I also enjoyed Unexpected Guests, and some big ones like Over the Void. That's been fun too. So yeah, there's a lot of good ones out there.
Totally. I would ask you another question, but I'm kind of focusing right now.
Oh yeah, watch out for the Wigglies.
Watch out for the spade.
Spade. Seriously, what are those things? Why are they throwing spades at you? Lancer, did you set these up?
Spades. Oh my goodness. No. Thank you, Jonathan. That's ridiculous. Incredible. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send you a message in a bit just to touch base. Okay? Brilliant. Putu Brigham, yeah, totally.
Yeah, definitely.
I pronounce it Putu. That's terrible. I'm going to get in trouble with somebody. Yeah, brilliant.
Is it Potu or Potu? Because it's after the bird, but I can't remember how the bird's pronounced.
Oh man, is it a bird?
Potu? Yeah, there's a kind of bird called the Potu.
I thought it was just a nonsense word.
Oh no, it's a. I will send you a picture of it later because they're very funny looking.
Oh, cool. Funny birds. I can get behind
I'm
this.
I'm gonna get that right now. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
do it,
show
do
you a
it,
picture
do
of a funny bird.
Do it.
Let's see.
Let's see. Brilliant.
Picture of funny bird.
Thank you for the thank you for those generous donations. That's ridiculous. Thank you for the questions too. Oh, what do you think about Bendy and the Ink Machine? Last time I checked, it was almost as if it never existed. I kind of feel similar. I played the first chapter because it was free and then just never followed up. What about you?
Oh, me? I have not played Bendy and the Ink Machine. I've watched some playthroughs of it, and because I had a friend who was pretty big into that for a while, and it's cool. It's fine. I think it could have gone some different directions that might have been a little better, but it was a great concept at least. Yeah,
totally. The horrifying elements of an animation studio and their characters, and
yeah,
I think that's very. I think interesting follow-up question. Would Bendy and the Ink Machine have existed if Undertale hadn't been so successful?
Oh, well, I don't know. I don't know much about the creator. Like, did they say that Undertale was a inspiration? But, like, I think definitely Undertale helped facilitate more interest in indie games and indie game fandoms. So I can certainly see how that would have been a boost for Bendy.
For sure. Oh, Dr. Mecha, thank you. $2. Thank you so much. So generous. What's your opinion on Glitchtail and Underverse? So those are animated series about the similar sort of vibes of the AU stuff that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I'm sorry I don't have an opinion because I haven't seen them yet. Maybe I should finally sit down and watch them. But have not personally seen them.
Yeah, and that's fine. You're extraordinarily busy. Great. There's one more thing to do, and then we're done. We've gone slightly over an hour, and I'm deathly sorry because I know how busy you are. But I've really enjoyed this. I've had a lot of fun. Thank you so much for your time. But there is one more thing.
Okay.
I am going to on Discord right now send you a word. It is a word of my own invention, and it was originally a concept because we had a fair number of voice actors in the chat, but unfortunately, you are an artist and you have to do it too. The Dobnobble challenge. I've just seen the bird that you sent. Please read that word. First try.
Please read this word.
Off you go.
Okay, here we go. Incredible, bad dibble, dribble, drabada, bad dibble, double, dob, nubby, dob, nubble. I might have screwed that up.
Very nice. Very nice. Love that. That's much better than half the people that have been on this show. Wow, that was great.
That's a lot of B's and D's.
For those of you who are in the YouTube chat, there you go. Have a go at home. Why not? We'll see how our guests next week do on that one. Yeah, really excited. The Dobnobble challenge. Reds, I've got to apologise for asking so many questions. Believe it or not, I never knew you do streams. It's really nice meeting you guys. Dude, you're the best, dude. Keep on asking questions. That's a really cool way to interact on stream and get the conversation going. That's one of the kind of dreams really that I had for the show. So thank you so much. Great. Lynx.
Yes.
We're out of time.
Oh no, this has been fun though.
It has. It's been really cool to like meet and talk properly about this stuff because I don't know, I've got this vain idea that it kind of matters and that it's important.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. So thank you so much for your time. Do you have?
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Did you have any closing kind of points or thoughts about? And they could be like general advice. They could be whatever. Any closing remarks?
Just stay cool. Be good to yourself. Be good to other people.
I think that says everything, doesn't it? God bless you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining, everybody. I have had serious fun. It's been too long since The Fandom Lives has been broadcasted on your YouTube televisual device. So thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining. Thank you for sticking around. 30 people is a lot. Thank you so much. Which indie game was the most successful one of all? Dude, 0 punctuation, Yahtzee Crossshaw rated Undertale his best of the 2010s. I think Undertale, man. Like that's. I'm totally.
I guess it depends on how you measure success. Because I mean, if you're measuring it through money, probably FNAF because there's merchandise for it everywhere. But in terms of cultural impact, I don't know, maybe Undertale. So.
Closing remark from Alex. Thank you so much for this. Always commit tax evasion. I think that's the best closing point that we've ever had on the stream. God bless you all. We'll see you very soon. For another episode. We are streaming every 2 weeks, every second Saturday at 8 p.m. GMT. You're going to have to Google what Greenwich Mean Time means in your region. But I can't tell you that because I'm afraid I don't know. Because I am a voice on your phone. I'm not actually here with you, which is sad because, I'd like to tell you that you're, I'm going to stop talking because I'm digging myself into a hole. God bless you guys. Have a great week, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time for our next guest. Let me get out the Streamlabs. And, take care, everybody. Goodbye!
Bye!
Goodbye!